Hello and welcome back to the Rugby Connection podcast. Well, I did say interviews were coming, and here we go. And what a start we have. A Wasp Centurion, 70 caps for Scotland, over 200 international points, the last Five Nations champion, multiple time Premiership winner. It's none other than Kenny Logan. Kenny, thank you so much for coming on. How are you
Thanks for
getting
having
on?
me on, boys. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome.
Scottish chairs in the background, English chairs in the background.
I had to get some
Yeah.
representation.
Yeah.
Although I will say I did recently find out I have Scottish heritage. So technically I am 1/16 Scottish,
Well,
if that counts.
that's not bad. That counts nowadays, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
Please.
Gregor, I'll do a job. I mean, I don't know what job it will be, but I'll do something.
First question that we ask all our guests, Kenny. What actually got you into rugby in the first place?
I suppose I was born in Stirling, and I was a farmer's son. My cousins all went to rugby club. It was sort of like, that's where the parties were. That's where everybody went on a Saturday, Sunday. Then my dad was never really into sport. He was a farmer. My brothers were a little bit into sport, but not as much as I was. But my cousins were really heavily into rugby. And it just, you went along there. I mean, I started playing rugby with the likes of Mark McKenzie and Kevin McKenzie. They were a bit older than me. Well, Kevin was. So I'd grown, I look now and I've known them for like since I was 7 years old. So yeah, it was a good place to start. And I'm really proud of how the rugby club is now, in the sense that the mini rugby still is strong, and probably even stronger now. It's one of the top rugby sort of junior sections in the country. So it's a great, really proud of to come out of there.
Yeah, all I hear is how good Stirling are doing. Doesn't matter what game I'm at, there's always someone whispering about, oh, you need to get them to Stirling. They're doing amazing. Keep your eyes peeled on Stirling. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try my best.
There's more coming.
There is. There's always more coming. There absolutely is. Um, Obviously, I did mention it in the intro. You are the last Five Nations champion. How does obviously never lost it? That's the running gag that forever reigning
Yeah.
Five Nations champion. What did it actually feel winning it, playing it, all the emotions going into that final day?
So, I mean, I grew up watching Scotland Grand Slam, semi-final World Cups. And then that was 91 World Cup. Then in 92, I got my first cap. So I was quite, Gavin, Sean Lenine and Scott Hastings, Craig Chalmers, David Soul. So I got the end of that amazing era. So we were always, you believed that you could win these tournaments because you'd seen it as a kid. And
Yeah.
and then obviously when we did get I remember going to Paris and we're all sitting in the plane. We obviously knew that Wales had to do a job in England, but we were so confident of beating France in France. It was, I don't know, that season we'd scored, I think it was the record of tries we'd ever scored in a competition, and there was such freeness from the team, and there was the start of the tournament we played against against Wales, and Duncan Hodge broke his ankle, and that actually moved me to goal kick, and then Gregor to came off the bench. No, Gregor came to 13-10, and then Alan Tate came in, and that was a big moment because the team really clicked. Nothing against Hodgie, but the leg break definitely moved the back division around, and the Leslie brothers, Martin Leslie and John Leslie were great. John Leslie was an unbelievable rugby player to play with. And but going into that final game, the belief was incredible, right? And I sort of look at the team now. The team now, it deserves to win something. It needs to, not just like a cup, or it needs to win a Six Nations or a Triple Crown or something. I know this year felt really close, but those bunch of players deserve to win something big with Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That was one of my questions, but I'll let Harry
Yeah, and
go
it's
first.
when I think when you're growing up, and I was extremely lucky. I was still in county, won the league, and then Wasps. So I was used to winning stuff. It didn't feel right if I wasn't winning something or being in a final or a semi-final. I always felt that So when that came, there was a lot of players probably with the same sort of feeling. They like to win stuff, and I think that's again. You go back to the team now, the Glasgow, the Baths, the Northamptons. They're all winning teams, and they've got winning people in the Scotland team. So I do think they can win some. You know, they need to do it soon, because players are getting older. But certainly, it is a great feeling to win for your country, because it's hard enough winning for your club, never mind your country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as the Englishman here, I would say that there's been many a time that I've watched Scotland over the years, and it's just always been in the back of my mind, like, oh God, they could do it this year. And I'm always a bit more kind and optimistic to Scotland than a lot of the people around where I live, because I actually live near. Ironically, I live in old Wasps country near High
Right.
Wycombe, so I'm
Yeah,
like within there. So obviously, you got a lot of like, especially if I go down my local, like, nah, I don't want to give the
where's your
Scots
local? 'Cause
anything.
I used to live in Penn. I'm in Amersham now.
I'm near Chinner.
Oh, Chinnery,
So
I know you are.
yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, just around that sort of area, like
yeah.
right on the border, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire. Originally from High Wycombe, but
Right.
yeah, living in that area now.
Good.
But yeah, so it's all. I'm always a lot kinder than a lot of the people around here to Scotland, and every year I just think there's just it's. I'm not even well. I'm not that Scottish, as I've since found out. But I always find it surprising that they have it in them to just win an unbelievable game, but it's then just that next test match that just doesn't really feel like they can match the emotional level. And I don't know if you've got any insight onto, as a former player, how do you maintain going from winning like this one high stakes important game, like you beat England at Twickenham, but
Yeah.
then you've got to go and play like France at home, and then something happens. It's like, why is it that they can't maintain that sort of emotional intensity or playing intensity to keep going to push to
Well,
win these
I
titles?
knew that I'd have Gregor's job.
Yeah, that's also fair.
I think
That's also fair.
I also believe that there's a lot for the player. The player can easily you can't the coach can get you ready, but you've been picked because you're good at your position. If you look at the players that are coming in, from the likes of Bath, from the likes of Glasgow, that is a winning culture all day long. You know, Glasgow, uh, across Europe are a team that people are know about in the sense that they can come anywhere, they'll beat you. They're pretty consistent. They're well drilled, and they play great rugby. Bath's the same, Northampton's the same. So a lot of these players, and no disrespect to the Edinburgh group, but Edinburgh quite haven't found that winning way yet. And I don't know if it's interesting. You know, if I was an Edinburgh player, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Murrayfield. I would want to be away from it, because I think when you go to Murrayfield, it's a special moment when you walk in that stadium, and walking in there every day it would be like, this doesn't feel right. I think you need to have your own identity, and I know Glasgow have got that, and I think the players, the individual players, and I know, remember the Argentina game, right, where they were 21-0 up or something like that, and they lost. The players really took that on. I spoke to Sione and Finn. Finn about a couple of days after, and he said, you know, with the players look round, the players was that we've let ourselves down, not the coaches. You know, we're as a group. And I think there's been a little change since then. I think there's definitely a change. I think there's, you know, I thought how they performed this year was really consistent, and against South Africa were great. Okay, I think the score flattered them, but they were really in the mix, and they really made South Africa work really hard. And again, going to Argentina, so I think there is a change, but it is mentality. You know, you could look at it and say, right, Ireland, Leinster are very familiar. So is Glasgow. Is that the right model? You need a number of players coming in. I think nobody really knows the model, right? Because it works with a whole bunch of players being really close, and it also works with everybody coming from different cultures. You need a little bit of luck. You know, what was Scotland's luck this year? Being it didn't rain against Italy, right? And they would have beaten Italy, and they would have went on to probably win the Six Nations, right? But you can't live off luck. Luck is you can't live off that, and that was just one of those weird games that just, you know, it was better to give the ball away than have the ball in that game. But I think it comes down to real culture as the individual, and the players being honest with each other. I think the Scotland boys are pretty honest, and I think I know Gregor got a lot of stick at the time, but I think the players rallied round him because they believe in him. And obviously he finishes at the end of this World Cup, so there'll be a new coach that comes in, which wonder who that'll be. So I think that culture will grow, and there'll be another voice, a different voice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a way to ask this because I know you played with Gregor and all that, but obviously he's had a lot of stick. He's been in the job for, I mean, he's done over 100 tests as the head coach.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
That's
It
a
has
lot.
been
Wow.
quite a lot.
I didn't realize it was
Do
that
you
many.
have you noticed there's any difference between Gregor the player as to Gregor the coach, or is that very similar, like in styles? Does that make sense?
No, Gregor the player is a maverick. Gregor the coach is, I think there's maverick in there, but it's not. It's more controlled. I remember being with him and saying to him that when he was going through all the Finn stuff, I said, "He's just like you, but he's better than you are." Right? You just got to be able to control it. And I think Finn is probably one of the best rugby players, certainly in the world that we've from a skill point of view. I love watching him. I think he's great. He has got that maverick about him. Gregor's the same, and I think the relationship now is brilliant until probably Finn brings his book out. So I think the relationship's good. I think Gregor, obviously I've known Gregor since I was 15, maybe. We went our first Scotland tour together in 92 to Australia. Him and I went as these two young kids, and he was an amazing talent, and I think Gregor now is one of the top coaches in the world. He's got I think you've also got to remember, right? He's got a bunch of players that he hasn't got a million players or half a million players. He's got tens of thousands of players, and he's down to literally, I think what he's done now, he has, if you think there's no Duhan van der Merwe on the team, and there's no Hugh Jones in the team, and there's no Darcy Graham in the team, and there was no Richie Gray, Jamie Ritchie, all these players that were in the fringes and playing well, and I think he's got a lot of the players round about that squad, and the squad's getting deeper and deeper, and we haven't had that for a while. And I think every year he gives people a chance, so he's not scared to put somebody in there, and I think that's good. And he's got the confidence in his players. But yeah, he's definitely, he's like, let's be honest, when we played, we were 30-year-old people who were acting like children a little bit sometimes, right? But in general, I think he's a top coach. He is a top coach. He's taken Scotland to number 5, in the world. They're looked upon as a team that can beat MD on the day. Has he got the consistency? Not as much as we all want it. I think we've got to be a little bit, right, we are a really good team, but have we got the firepower to be consistent? Have we got the armoury if 2 or 3 main players are injured? South Africa and England, France, Ireland can do it. Haven't we got, have we got the firepower? So that's the bit that he would, if he could change in, I think he would say, if I could have a bit more firepower when I've got an injury, and the person coming in, there's hardly in between them, that could be the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to not a critique, because that sounds like too harsh a word, but I think that's a fair reflection on the Scotland squad. Like, I definitely look at it and think more and more is being added all the time. And I actually sort of talking on the Sione point, me and Murray were actually having a conversation yesterday about how it's actually impressive how much depth at centre Scotland seem to have. That if Sione and Hugh went, and obviously Hughie Piloto has been one of the best centre partnerships in the world for a number of years now. Yeah. You've then got Stafford McDowell and Rory Hutchinson, and then you could then have potentially a Tom Jordan and an Ollie Smith come in, and then
you've still got Cam Redpath.
You've still got Cam Redpath. You know what I mean? You've still got Chris Harris. Yeah. I mean, I know James Lang has been in the sort of the mist for quite a few years. He's still around. You've got the new guy Higgins coming into Edinburgh. You've got Sione's younger brother who is at Edinburgh. You've got Kerr Yule, who is obviously, I think Murray said to me, he's the most capped under-20 Scotland player ever. He's got 15 or 20.
He's got over 20.
Which is just insane to think how many years in that under-20s environment. But even just that sheer depth at centre, and then as you say, like no record try scorers in Duane and Darcy. You've still got Carl Steyn and Jamie Dovey, and it's
And
just
Carl Steyn for me, like, he's been brilliant.
unbelievable,
He's been brilliant,
unbelievable.
and he's been very consistent, even though he wasn't in the team. And he was another guy. Every time he came in, he performs. And I think that's another thing that when you've got players that are performing in front of you, and when you come in and you do the same, that the feeling that gives to the players around them and the pressure it puts on everybody else to actually front up is really good. But I mean, we have in scrum half. I think there's depth. Even the front row now has got a lot more depth. Hooker's got. Oh my God, they've got hookers coming out their ears.
It was like 4 or 5 at the minute,
Yeah,
isn't there? You think?
yeah. There's a lot of hookers. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of good competition. So we are getting there, right? So fingers crossed.
I'm hearing positive words. I'm loving this. I'm usually Kenny on this pod.
I
I'm
know.
the
I
one that
listen.
has to,
I'm a follower. I listen to
it's
you.
great. I love it. It's very refreshing to just almost take a seat back and be like, you know what? Let someone else say Scotland's praises, because then it looks like I'm not insane. So
I
it
think
makes
the
me
other
feel a
thing,
little bit better.
from an expectation point of view, right? We all want to win a Six Nations, and we all want to win a World Cup, right? World Cup's a big call, right? You need a really nice line through like England had last time, right? A really quite easy to get to semi-final. And
I don't disagree.
right, I know that we in '95, was it '95 in South Africa, we were 1 point away from playing Ireland, who'd never beaten us Ireland was like the England day. We could not lose to Ireland back in the day. Now we can't beat them. And now we can beat, now we couldn't beat England back in the day, and now we beat them every year, right? So I
Yeah.
think that there's an element of it's not luck, but you've got to win these games, right? And we were like this, they scored a try in the last second of the game. They kicked a goal to win by 1 point, and we go and play the All Blacks, and they go and play Ireland, right? So you need a bit of that, but at the same time, you look at the Scotland team, and we do get as fans, it's the closest thing, like from a rugby point of view, that we can beat these top nations, right? And we've had a great autumn test, and we'll build on that, I hope. But it's tough to win these big tournaments, and the Six Nations and Ireland getting better, not better, sorry, with Italy getting better. But the Six Nations is a great tournament. It's the best tournament in the world. It's fantastic, and I think the new Nations Championship, it's a mini World Cup, but I think it'll be great for the game. It'll be great commercially. I think it's hard for the teams flying around. I think they need to work on what it's going to look like, but it gives every game excitement and real jeopardy, and that's what we want as fans.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to because me and my brother and my dad were all going to the final day at the first and the fourth playoff. So I look at that as an England fan thinking, I've got a chance of seeing them either in the fourth or the first. Let's see what happens. But definitely, yeah, I think it's fun that, especially the aspect that they're having where the finals weekend will be based in one city, and then you get 3 days of six games. Like that's
that'll be
incredible.
good. I think
That's
it'll be interesting
incredible.
to see how it works. I know a lot of fans have just bought tickets for whatever they can get, because they know there's a fair chance there's going to be a big team in one of these games that nobody expected, right?
Oh, massively.
And they're all playing for something, so it's good. It's a good competition. Like, we get back to the talk about coaches. It's a hard job being a coach, right? We all sit here. I coach my under-14s, Reuben's team. Right? That's hard enough. But everybody's got a view. Instagram, all the different social media. Everybody's got their own view on how things should be done. It's a hard job. If it's going well, God, it's great. If it's going hard, you've really got to buckle down.
Oh yeah, I'd rather not be a coach. I'd rather just voice my opinion on the internet and see what sticks. But I generally couldn't be me. Even like when it's the build up to a Six Nations or a World Cup or even the Nations Championship, and I put out my squad, which in hindsight it doesn't mean anything, but I'm sitting writing down a team like, does that work? And I'm like getting stressed out, and I'm like, it's not. I'm not even the coach.
I know, but it's good though. That's the great thing though. That's the engagement thing. Everybody gets to have a say in it, right? Everybody gets to say what team they should go for, And then you watch the game and go, oh, my team would have done better. You know, oh, he probably got it right then or whatever, you know. I mean, I think, you know, like say the Carl Rowe who's come in, he's been brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And he can play fullback wing, you know, a great player. It's some people wouldn't have put him in, right? They might have put Jordan at fullback, but you know, it's little gambles like that. And you know, I like it. It's good. And everybody's allowed an opinion, right? And that's what's great about. That's why we become such good fans of the sport, right? We're allowed to say what we feel about it.
Yeah, it's a great way of looking at it.
I don't know if it's. I'm hoping it's you as well, Kenny. I know Harry's in the same boat as me. I'm too emotionally invested. I've cried way too many times at Murrayfield to be proud of,
Yeah.
but
That's good though. Passion's great. Passion's brilliant.
I remember the All Blacks game last autumn. I remember sitting, not bawling, but I could feel the tears in Murrayfield. And I messaged Harry like 10 minutes later. Like, I don't know. I genuinely feel heartbroken.
Bearing in mind, I was at England Fiji that day as well, and you had all of the Cordery
that made it a
tweets.
lot easier for us.
Yeah, all of the Cordery like Tweed Brigade who were just sort of like at Twickenham. We were all watching it on the big screen just before the game, and genuinely there was like half of people were like, oh, I hope the All Blacks win, and then half of it was like, no, actually, nah, it's gone Scotland. Like as the game went further and further, like more and more people just started cheering, and more people just started congregating to the massive TV screen. And bearing in mind, we could have all taken our seats, but so many people watching it. But it's like, that's because I'd have loved to have seen Scotland beat the All Blacks, and I'm happy to say that as an English fan on the internet. I'm happy to say that. I don't mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember when I was at the World Cup final, when England won the World Cup final in 2003. I got a phone call from a reporter saying, "What's your thoughts? And you know, do you think will you be wearing your Australian jersey?" And I was like, no, I hope they win. I said, because we get to play them every year. We'll get to play against the world champions every year and we'll get to beat them. And that's only going to be good for our game. And, you know, and five of those players played for my team. For Wasps. Why would I go against them?
Yeah.
So the journalist goes, I'll go and phone Gavin Hastings instead then.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't go against Big Lol. You just can't.
No, you can't. But I genuinely, like, you know, I think, do I want New Zealand to win the World Cup again, or would I want England? I would rather have England because we get to play them all the time. And it's only going to benefit Scotland-England games, only going to benefit the Six Nations. You know, we have to think a bit bigger. We can't, you know, I'd love France to win it, right? Probably more than England because they haven't won it. But the point is, we want some world champions on our side of the park, not their side all the time. And we've got to try and change it, you know. South Africa's boring, not boring, but they're brilliant. But if they win it again,
they've got enough. They've got four. They don't need another one.
You know. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
You did mention Wasps there briefly, and obviously you were very successful there. Wasp and Centurion, 3 Premiership titles, I believe. Obviously, with where they are now, it's obviously very emotional for you. And I did read something about you were on, like, was it a committee or something to get Wasps back? Is there anything you could tell us about that?
So, So Chris Holland, who owns Worcester Warriors, also owns Wasps, and obviously Worcester Warriors back, and the next phase is to bring Wasps back, which we are on quite heavily. It's common knowledge that we're in talks with Kent Council and planning for a new stadium. And those talks are continuing to go on, and fingers crossed we can get something over the line and Wasps will be back, hopefully in the next 2 years.
That's amazing. Without probably going into, say, too much detail, because obviously don't know what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
Would it be the plan to, because obviously the Prem is talking about expanding and like the franchise rights and everything. Would it be that you could have a way to go directly into the Prem again, or is it the way that Worcester have done and gone into the Champ?
Yeah,
and
I think we'll need to find out what the rules are going to be, how the Premiership. But I think if Worcester are back, I think they would want them back as quickly as possible into the Premiership. So we just need to see what the rules will be and how we can get back as quick as possible, really. But they will be. I'm pretty confident they'll be back.
That's great to hear, because obviously I said before, like, my local club's Chinner. I live like about half an hour from Wickham.
Yeah.
Like, this is like proper. There's not a huge amount of rugby fans here. A lot of people are now, like, obviously with the success of Chinner over the last few years, which has been amazing to see. It's like, that's my former club as well, from when I was about 12 to 16. And you can really tell that Chinner has sort of filled the space of what used to be Wasps.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people would used to, like, and you can really tell that there's been like a almost like a heartache for a lot of people, even though they moved to Coventry a long time ago. There's a lot of people in this area who just they miss that team, like, massively.
Yeah, I agree, and I would say that when Wasps went down, I was really, I was devastated, absolutely devastated, because of what Wasps had given me as a person. When I left Scotland, it was hard enough to leave Scotland because I'd left the game had gone professional, and I'd left Stirling County to go to Wasps, and I was the only sort of player leaving Scotland to go to England. The rest of the players were already in England, and it was a sort of big gamble for me. And I ended up joining a family of people that had that belief of winning and success. And I had 9 years there, which was the best 9 years of my life. And from a rugby point of view, it was a great culture. I learned a lot about myself as much as anything else, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So when Wasps went down, and obviously my son Reuben started at Wasps, so he was going through the same sort of journey, and it was like somebody died in the family. I just couldn't process it. I couldn't believe how they got the club into that space, and I knew the club was struggling a little bit because I was in talks with some of them about looking at investment, but you never think it'll happen, do you? You never think a club is going to go on. So it was really hard to take, and I think there's a lot of bitter Wasps fans. I mean, the Wasps Legends group they were angry at the time. I think now they probably are just waiting and hoping that Wasps do come back, which I'm pretty confident we will come back.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I know there'll be a lot of people around here who are, like, happy that that's the case, because I mean, I'm a Harlequins fan, because I sort of got back into club rugby when I was a bit older, and I was in Guildford, and obviously quit the Quins Boys train there, sort of living in that area of, like, slightly southwest London, like,
bit posh.
Being a student in Guildford's not posh, but
posh student.
Not really. It's not really at all. But yeah, it's definitely, even a lot of the Quins fans that I know that obviously historically Quins and Wasps, like, didn't like each other before Quins and Sarries was the rivalry that took over. But even especially a lot of the older Quins fans that I've spoken to, when Wasps went down, they were like, "Oh, I'm just gutted for them. Like, it's just horrible." Like, I can't imagine what it's like losing a team like your team like that. That it just must feel like heartbreak.
It didn't feel real. That was the thing, right? You think, how, why? That was the thing, but a lot happened that year. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, hopefully we'll get Wasps back to where they should be, not in Coventry. Just put that out there.
And make Wasps London again. That'll be the hat that they make, the black and yellow hat. Make Wasps London Wasps again.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You mentioned Reuben. Obviously, Reuben did play for England under 20s. How much influence did you have getting him on the right side for Scotland?
Well, I had influence on the other side too, because he was at school, and England were trying to get him for the under-18s, and he went up for a Scotland under-16s game or something like that. And I knew that from a point of view of education-wise and travelling, I said, you don't need to make a decision now. If you want to play for England, play for England. I was thinking, this might backfire. At the same time, it was what was right for him at the time. And I can see why a lot of the Scottish boys play under 20s, and because it's easy for them. And certainly from a club point of view, they're more valuable to the club if they're playing for England. and which maybe people down in Scotland don't understand that, you know, if you're an English-based player, you're more valuable to the Premiership than you are a Scottish-based player. So I think that was the right thing for him at the time. And I suppose as it went along, at the end, the best thing he ever did was going to Scotland. He ended up playing the 10, 12 games he played for the under-20s, and it was really good for him. It was the best thing he did. So, and you know, Reuben was a Scottish fan. You know, he used to sing for Scotland me all his life. So it's not like, you know, the English system was really good for him, like the coaching and the whole environment. But you know, at some stage you got to make a choice. You know, what way do you want to go? And if he was obviously he had no choice. He had the Welsh after him a little bit. But you know, yeah, I was pleased to see him pull the blue jersey on. That's for sure.
Has Wales ever tried to nick him, or is it not
And
really?
they have a little bit, but no, he wants to play for Scotland. He's pretty nailed on if he can. He's good enough.
That's pretty cool.
Good lad, I like that. Right choice.
Fair enough. I have actually heard that even a lot of the Welsh lads who are potentially in like the Gloucester, Bristol, Bath academies, that a lot of them will play for the England under-20s simply because it's just the easier pathway for them. It means that they can get more rugby under their belt, or they're more valued as the academy, even though, and this is not me digging anyone out at all, I think a lot of them, I think Ross Moriarty years ago came out and said that he played for the England under-20s because he needed to do that with the academy setup that he was in, but it was always going to be Wales when he got to an adult. So I think experiencing lots of environments is always going to be good for you because you just take what you can from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Martin Johnson played for the under-20s and under-21s and the All Blacks. You know, loads of players have played, you know, different age groups for different. And I think, obviously, you know, Henry Pollock, for example, his mum and dad are Scottish, right?
Finn Smith,
Fairbank, I think.
I did not know that.
Scottish. His dad's
I mean, Fraser Dingwall was the most Scottish name.
Yeah, I mean that's it's the most Scottish sounding player ever who doesn't play other than Fraser McWright.
Yeah, Fraser McWright. But I think Duhan van der Merwe's quite Scottish, is he not?
He is.
He's got a passport. He's got a passport, so he is a British citizen.
Yeah, I think that age group, it's just, you know, if you're good enough, you just play where you are, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe if he was, I don't know, I think at the time it was right for him, right? And then as he gets older, he makes his own decision what he wants to do.
That's fair. How do you think he's going to do on this upcoming season? Because now he's at Sale.
Yeah.
Him and Courtney Laws, I will say, that is a tasty back row pairing. That's not fair because they are both absolute units. Yeah,
Courtney Laws, I mean, he looks fit too, Courtney Laws. He'll be good this year, Courtney Laws. He's a world-class player, but he's training like really hard, and you know he'll be ready for that England jersey, I reckon.
I reckon it's
I would love Reuben up here. I want Reuben at Edinburgh, but
Edinburgh.
He's an Edinburgh fan.
I'm an Edinburgh fan.
I think Reuben almost went to Glasgow, but probably for his development at the time. So last year he was involved in like 15 Sale games, and then he must have played another 10, 12 championship games, and then the year before he played 30 odd games. So at a good level, and maybe he wouldn't get that in Scotland. You get a lot of good.
Is that between like Caldy and like Bedford teams like that?
Yeah, no, he played. He was at Caldy. So the year he went to, he was at Northampton at the end. He played all the Six Nations games with Scotland. They did the World Cup, and then he played at Bedford, and then he also played at Cambridge. And the following year he went straight to Caldy. And I think that's one thing that the English clubs have got. They've got that those players can play championship rugby, and it's a very good standard. It's a good league because everybody can beat each other. Even like, you know, obviously Ealing have got a lot of money and they spend a lot of money, but it doesn't guarantee a win, right? No. As Worcester can demonstrate. So I think these young players, and it was good for Reuben. You know, played a lot of back row, right? He is now, but he needed game time.
Absolutely. Game time is that's the best way to learn it.
Happens. Yeah, especially you can be a great trainer, right? And you can train brilliantly, but you need to play games and you need to learn and make mistakes and be dropped and all these different things you got to. So yeah, I think it's been good for him. It's been very good for him. See how he gets on the season for sale because they've got a lot of really good signings, and they didn't have a great season last year, but the back row's got a lot of good players in it. So to be in that environment, working hard, hopefully you'll get a chance, and takes it, and then put the pressure on the coaches. So all you can do as a young player is just put as much pressure on the coaches as possible by playing well and training well.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, learning from Tom Curry, Ben Curry, Courtney Laws, getting shouted at by George Ford to be here, there, and everywhere. It's probably not the worst way to develop as a player. And I can imagine that living near Manchester is a lot more fun than living in Northampton.
A little bit,
tiny bit, just a tad.
Yeah, it's a good city, Manchester.
Yeah,
well, fun. I've enjoyed my nights out there when I've been down.
Yeah, no, it's a good city. I like it.
It's better night out than Wickham, I will say that.
A bit bigger than Northampton.
Yeah, it's definitely a better night out than Wickham as well.
Is that a better night out than Wickham?
Manchester is a better night out than Wickham. I can 100% attest to that.
It's not got a trilogy there.
Yeah, trilogy, my word. I was not expecting so much trilogy today, but
yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Even Reuben's too old for that now.
He's definitely too old. I'm nearly 26. I was too old for trilogy 6 years ago.
Exactly.
Just definitely
not.
Never been.
Yeah.
Never been. I've never been down that. I've never been down to London, I don't think.
No, it's always.
No, I'm planning on it. It's always on the agenda. It's just never.
You need to try it this time. It's not bad down there,
Yeah, it's not too. Yeah, we're all right. We're all right. We're not too bad. There's nice places around here. Maybe not the best nightlife, but a lot of good pubs.
Fair enough. I prefer a pub anyway, to be honest. Who is your dream back three partners? Because obviously you played wing and fullback. If you could pick anyone to play alongside with, past and present, who would they be?
Jonah Lomo, played with him for the Barbarians, so I'd definitely go for Jonah. It's not so much the back three, it's the centres to give you the ball.
That's so true.
I remember playing for the Barbarians, and Frank Bunsen and Walter Little were playing, and they were just sort of tell me, just run that way, and when I lift my head up and look like I'm going to pass, come in a hard line, and you come in this hard line, and he just puts the ball in your breadbasket straight through one-on-one the fullback. You're going, oh my God, this is what it's like. Rather than getting the ball, it was like the standoffs picking, it's tackling because the drift's been so hard. So I would always look at who's the best centres to play with. But from a back three point of view, Christian Cullen, played against him. He is probably one of the best fullbacks of all time. Oh my God, Jason Robinson.
Oh,
Jonah Lomo. There you go. Done.
Okay, so I'll build on the question because obviously your point on the centres is actually so fair. Who would you want to be in the centres playing outside of, and then potentially 9 and 10? Let's do a whole back line. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, so you got to go to Pom, you got to go Finn Russell, and I would go for my two Scottish centres all day long because they're the most exciting. It's one of the most exciting back divisions at the moment, and Hugh Jones alongside Tua Piloto, that'd be a dream. Because what I love about Sione is he does so many great things on the ball, but his touches are incredible, right? And he can run hard. He's got the whole game. He run hard, puts people in holes. What I love about the centres is when they make a gap, when they make a break, immediately look to see where this quick guy is. I would need to try and keep up with Hugh Jones, mind you. That'd be the hardest part. But I'd love to be in that back division now. The amount of ball that they get as a back three, it's insane.
It's brilliant. It is
I
great
think the
to see.
Scottish back division is incredible. You could, like, okay, you look at the French, but the English back division is all over the place, right? Nobody really knows who's going to start, or there's
It's very fair.
there's no real regulars there. But Hugh Jones and Tuipulotu, pretty good. And Finn Russell. I mean, Finn Russell's just a genius, right? If you watch him, he never gets caught with the ball that much. He's very rarely gets caught with the ball. He always gets the ball away. And the more pressure they put on him, the more space he gives everybody around him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The one year that we had Hugh Jones at Harlequins, it was always funny watching him whenever he played against England. I was like, oh shit, Hugh Jones is going to score again.
But he actually didn't do what he wasn't brilliant at Harlequins, was he? He was on the bench a lot.
He at the start of the season, because obviously it was when the first choice partnership was Esther Hazen and Joe Marchant, and that partnership was very successful for a long time. Luke Northmore was there or thereabouts, and Hugh Jones got a couple of opportunities. When Tyrone Green went down and he ended up playing fullback, there was just something about it. He went on like a 10-game run where it was just he was unbelievable playing at fullback. Like, scored some great tries. And I often say, and I make the joke, that Hugh Jones got back into Scotland because of Harlequins. So Scottish fans, you're welcome. But
he probably did. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it was hard for him to break in at the start, and I think he's even said himself that it was a bit difficult. But once he got more in, and there was a couple of injuries, and he got his chance and he got his opportunity, he really just. I mean, I still remember the ridiculous try that they scored when. I think it might have been at the Gardens, to be honest, where Marchant jumps out into touch and he flicks it back, and Hugh Jones just gets it, and it's just like, how's he done that? But yeah, I loved having Hugh Jones at Quins for that 1 year, and I was gutted that he left. But to see what he's gone on to do, it's like, fair enough. You are amazing.
He's found the right partner too. You can't just. You've got to. It's a shame that he's left, obviously, but it gives somebody else another chance, right?
Give Stafford McDowell more opportunity now.
He's only going to probably flourish off the back of Sione.
Absolutely.
And then you've got Kerry Yule that we mentioned earlier from the under-20s. You'll now probably get more appearances off the bench, and just keep that cycle spinning. We've got to love it.
We probably could, probably our biggest problem is we've only got 2 professional teams, right? We could probably do with another one. So I always look, when somebody leaves Glasgow, or Edinburgh, it brings another young player through potentially, and that player's playing somewhere else, and he's established, or about him, or he's always going to be there. So that is a model, right? A model. If players do go, we fill in another player with another Scottish player, and hopefully it adds more strength to the Scotland team.
I sort of building off that question. It's twofold. One, do you think that there could potentially be the funding or the backing to maybe make Stirling be a third professional outfit? Or is there a sort of a missed opportunity, bearing in mind, I think you finished your career at London Scottish? Should they be trying to maybe get a couple more Scottish players to go there for game time or development? I know it's a bit more difficult now that they've gone down to Nat 1. But say if they came back up to the champ next season, is there an opportunity to maybe think, let's send more of our Scottish lads to go play at Scottish and potentially build a partnership there?
Yeah, I mean, there obviously is a partnership there, but there's the rules are your foreign players. We're a foreign player, unless you've got English qualification. I think it's going to be hard now to probably get another team off the ground financially, and and then also, even if it was, let's just say it was Stirling or whatever somewhere in Scotland, it's financially a big hit for the union. It'd be another 5-6 million quid. Can they afford to do that? And again, you've also got to think, if we do spend that much money. So I think, and also think Stirling would somebody'd have to want to do it, right? I mean, I remember when Glasgow were looking for a home, I was involved in a consortium. I've been involved in too many consortiums now. I'm thinking about it. Not one yet. This is the second one. And bringing Glasgow to Stirling at the time, old Stirling, the Albion ground. And it's hard work relocating and building a new team. And I think the difference of Scotland spending all that money, would we see the difference at the other end? Another end would be the national team, right? Would we see that difference of would we get to number 2 in the world? You know what I mean? That's the thing. You're doing it for a reason. Or are we better just having the two and letting players like Sir Reuben and these other players play in other clubs and follow them out to as many places as possible to give them that experience? That might be our model, a bit like the Argentinian model. You know, they're not professional, but you know, and the Italian model. So, and we've also haven't got the numbers. Would we be able to fill? Would we be able to fill another successful team? You know,
Yeah.
um, I think that'd be the hard bit. I think probably at the moment, and if you look at the Welsh, they're going from 4 to 3, and 3 probably feels like the number. And Ireland have got it right at 4. They probably would they go to 5? I don't know.
Good point. Good question.
Yeah. It's fair enough.
I think it's just because, like you said, there's only the two, so everyone's like people on the borders like, why don't we get a team? Well, you had a team.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, there's obviously a big fan base of fans up north, Aberdeen,
Yeah.
Inverness, but I'm like, again, is the interest actually there? It's all very well and good saying that you like rugby and that you support Scotland. Yeah, we all support Scotland, but if there was a team at your back door, would you go and watch them? That's that. I think that's where the
You know, interestingly, when Worcester came out, right? Obviously, they lost the team, and then it's come
yeah.
back, and they've now realised when they lose in the community and how hard it was to
Mhm.
to adapt to not having that Saturday afternoon. And
Yeah,
you know, even though you go, oh, I like my rugby, you've got to support it. You know,
Mm.
and
yeah,
I say this
absolutely.
to Glasgow and Edinburgh fans. You know, they're international fans, but you need to support it. And even if you're just buying a season ticket, right, and if you can
Yeah,
afford to buy it, that helps the club, right?
yeah,
And then you can give the season ticket away. You don't have to go every week, but give it to your mates or whatever. So we create that real good atmosphere because players need to be supported, right? It's their jobs, and they want to be supported. And the more support they get, more pressure they're under to perform, right? There's people watching; they're expecting more from you. But generally, I think that we have to support the grassroots clubs. It's like you're talking Chinner and Stirling County. You know, the local community have to support them because when they're not there, it's a big dent in the community. You know, it's
Yeah.
yeah,
a great
absolutely.
place where they might have, a Sunday morning, you get Stirling County Rugby, there was 300-400 kids there. You
Yeah,
know, and on a Thursday night, there's hundreds of adults there. So that it does something for the community, and we have to make sure that we keep making sure that thrives. And I think the biggest problem with the borders now, when I was growing up, the borders were full of young people. Now these young people are finishing school and heading to Glasgow, Edinburgh, or
yeah,
going for a gap year, and then realizing, oh, I really like Australia, and then staying there for a couple of years. So it's a different culture now than it was 25 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
absolutely.
fair. Definitely on the community aspect, I've
Yeah,
seen a huge, just from like living in the area and being a former youth player at Chinner, like we went from having like maybe 500 people turn up to like a Nat 2, Nat 1 game, and now our attendance is as a club, it's like the second highest,
mm,
third highest in the champs, like
yeah.
2,000 people. Bearing in mind, Tame is not a massive town,
No, it's not. No.
but it's just incredible to see. Like you go on a match day and it's like it's full, and like
Have you
there's
been to
talks of
Caldy
now.
yet? Have you been to Caldy?
No, I've not.
I
I've
mean,
not.
Caldy's old school, but it'll be 2,500 people on the banking, and
Oh,
the
I've
clubhouse is,
I've
I
heard
don't
from
know.
a lot of the like guys who like go and travel around because I don't get to I haven't managed to get to as many games as I wanted to in the last couple of
Mm,
years. Hopefully next year I should be able to get to more. But like it's so fun to just go down to local club, and because I work in Tame as well, I
yeah,
know so many people. So I just wander around like, oh, Harry, it's nice to see you out of work, and like you're actually.
yeah.
So it's just great to, and then I know loads of the players because they come into the pub that I work at as well, and it's had such a positive impact on the town, and especially
Yeah.
when
And it's
you
so
think,
imagine if just took it away.
yeah, I mean, the fact that we're now they're actively trying to plan to get like a 5,000 seat stadium and make it bigger and better, and trying
Yeah.
to get more players in, like trying to establish the youth pathway a bit better. And it's just, as a whole, it's just as a project, it's just exciting to sort of see. And yeah, having that community aspect for people to have something that, because even a lot of people there probably aren't the biggest rugby fans, but they go and enjoy it and they enjoy the atmosphere, and then they get into it, and that's how you not trickle down, but you sort of trickle up, and like more people then think, oh, let's go and see, maybe there's some Prem clubs I might like, let's go and watch more internationals.
Exactly.
And you establish a culture for the future. So yeah,
you've also got to remember, we all came from these rugby clubs. We didn't just arrive at Northampton or Wasps or whatever. You know, you've got to start somewhere, and you start at a Chinner or a Stirling County, and you go through it, and then you either play for your local club and you become your local, that's your local club, or you move to another rugby club, or you go professional. I mean, not everybody goes professional, right? There's a very small amount go professional, but we all start in the same place, and that's the beauty of the community game.
Yeah, that's sort of what my brother's 17 and is in one of the local rugby colleges that are around this area, and he's played from under fives or under sixes at Chinner, and he's now in the Colt system as well. And and my dad managed to like coach him pretty much throughout his whole career at Chinner as a youth player, and it's amazing to see like the development that some of those like young lads have and opportunities, whatever. But you are completely right. It all starts at your local grassroots. And if we don't support them, they will just go.
Agreed.
I think we're going to move the goalpost a little bit, though, and get to know Kenny as a person. Obviously, we've done a very deep dive on rugby, and it was awesome, and we could probably talk all day about rugby. But let's get to know Kenny the person. So, like, what's your favourite film?
Oh God, Braveheart, obviously. I did show it to Reuben a little bit early, I think, when she got her throat cut. And Gabby said, "Why have you shown that?" Reuben couldn't sleep for 2 nights.
Oh no!
I'll just get him to early doors.
It's worked.
So I like all the, I like a bit of Lethal Weapon. I like a little bit of, gangster feel. Quite like a bit of gun action. Yeah, Braveheart is always in my head all the time. I always think, not in my head all the time, but it's one of these movies that I sort of, it's got a real place in my heart.
Yeah, it's a fabulous film. I'm an actor by training.
Are you?
Yeah. That's why I was down in Guildford, because I trained in a musical theatre at the drama school down there.
Good
man. So Surrey Sports Park, I was able to use and played football on, and then I'm like, oh, there's Joe Marler. That's hilarious. What's he doing here?
Coming to watch your next play.
Oh God, no! Don't watch me play football. It was awful. I'm an awful footballer.
Braveheart. It's a classic until you read the history, and it's a bit off. But
my kids will go, "Dad, why'd you see that?" Reuben go, "Why'd you see that?" Braveheart.
No, that's a great answer. I love that.
I mean, it won many awards.
I went to the premiere of Braveheart. So there you go.
That's that big.
The premiere was in Stirling.
That's
and I've got a lot more depth to it than just going, Braveheart. I went to the
that makes sense.
It was in my back garden.
Yeah, that's a great emotional connection right there.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah. It's my favourite film. I saw the premiere. It was amazing. It was in my hometown. Like, fair.
Yeah, great. And here's me thinking I was being at a movie premiere was cool, but I got to go to see the John Olome one before anyone else, so there you go.
Well, I'm going to that.
I got they did it at the Glasgow Film Festival, and they invited me.
There's another one coming out. I'm going to another one in I think September. Anyway, I got an email the other day about it. Yeah,
it's the same one. It's the same one. Trust me.
Is it?
Yeah,
it must be. Anyway,
do you know how hard that is to bite my tongue? That it's been like April when I went to go to this, and they're like, "Don't say anything." I'm like, "Okay."
He's not even said anything to me, so he's done very well at like keeping it stum.
Right.
It is must see, and it was a fantastic opportunity. So that's all I can do.
That's all I can do. That's fine. Don't spoil it.
No, I won't spoil it.
Cool.
Definitely won't.
Here's another
Definitely
personal
won't.
question. Here's another personal question. What was your favourite dance on Strictly Come Dancing? As the performing artist, I have to ask that question.
I would say the Viennese Waps.
That's a great pick. That is a great. Oh, that's brilliant.
Because I did it to Flower of Scotland, but I also did the Paso Doble with my kilt on. That was pretty good.
Again,
That's my mum's favourite one. Just
Yeah,
to let you know.
Paso Doble. I mean, it wasn't pretty to watch, but anyway. I quite liked the rumba. I did the rumba. It was quite cool.
I've done a bit of ballroom and Latin, bearing in mind I was more like specialising in sort of like the musical theatre disciplines of like ballet, tap, jazz, on top of doing rugby when I was younger. Very weird duality, but it worked. But as somebody who has tried to do rumba and has had a fair amount of dance experience, it is quite tricky. So props to you doing it as somebody who, to the best of my knowledge, didn't have dance experience when you were growing up.
I had no movement experience. I mean, I looked like a stiffy. I looked so bad. I was so bad. But I'm still the best dancer in the house. So that's the main thing.
There we go.
I love that competitive spirit. So what's your favourite style of music artist, song?
I'm stuck in the 80s.
Oh, it's a great era though.
I'm an 80s man.
Good era.
I'm an 80s man. Every time I get in the car, I've got Heart 80s on or Radio 2. Listen to Vernon's a good mate of mine. Vernon, a bit of Five Live, but definitely I love 80s music. I love it. In fact, recently, Amy McDonald I like Amy McDonald, Scottish. Jerry Cinnamon.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, love him.
Belter.
Yeah.
So, and I was just saying to Gabby recently, I want to go to some concerts. Never really did concerts, but I wanted to go to the Radio 2 one in Stirling, but I can't, sadly. But yeah, I really want to try and go to a bit more concerts now. I just want live music.
Yeah, I've never done
really
much concerts
into
either.
it. I'm not really a music. I like music. Where Gabby could run off unbelievable artists and all that. I'm sort of like, just love 80s music.
You know what you like though? That's the main thing.
That's a solid era.
It is. And there's so much like range from the 80s as well.
Bit of Journey.
Not where I thought you were with that, but fair play, Harry.
Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, and all these ones. My kids are going, oh my God. No.
No, you've got to love a bit of Whitney and Tina Turner.
Brilliant music.
Hey, it got really popular with like Stranger Things as well, like all the music and everything.
Like all our kids, younger generation, all listen to 80s music. They love it.
Oh, it's brilliant. I grew up in a household where my parents were constantly like showing me like music from like the 70s and the 80s. So like I have a real appreciation for like that stuff as well. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant era for music. It's better than now. That's all I'm saying. 2020 is a bit.
I've now like encouraged my mum to listen to what I listen to. So like Kenny mentioned, like Jerry Cinnamon and Oasis and the Cortinas and Catfish and the Ballman. My mum now likes all that, and I'm like, this is a weird one. But I'm also a big country fan. Like, I love Luke Combs. I love Morgan Wallen. I've been to see Shania Twain. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Big range.
You like your music?
Range. I like music, yeah. I like to just sit, chill out, put some tunes on.
Nice. Like it, I'm with you.
My music taste is far too varied. It goes from like really old school musical theatre, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, let's listen to a bit of punk rock. I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like goes from Oklahoma to like Fall Out Boy. I'm like, oh my God, that is.
Yeah, you need some counselling.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. There's a bit of like, oh yeah, let's listen to some devastating Stephen Sondheim, and then let's listen to Oasis singing about a Wonderwall. Yeah.
Yeah. Help.
I need somebody's help, not just anybody's help. There we go. A little bit
is there any current TV shows or like
Oh my God,
series that
TV
you're
shows.
binge watching that you recommend?
Oh, I'll tell you what I did watch. I like,
Hmm.
you know, Yellowstone. You watched that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've
there's
seen a
another
bit
one
of
called
it.
Dalton. The Daltons. It's a new one. It's pretty
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah. Um, TV. I like a bit of Chase.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we
If
all
I
have
ever
the
get a
choice.
chance to watch it, not much now, but if I like a bit of Chase, Vietnam, like you know. For some reason, I've not watched much TV recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
trying to think of some other box sets. Uh, so when Gab and I got a chance, I got a good box set. So,
yeah.
um, what was the last one? I'm trying to think of the last one we watched. She's this dove's been mental. Right, I think that's it now. Yeah, TV. Don't watch enough of it, probably.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. If you've ever thought about it, Ted Lasso
Oh
is,
no, done that. I watched the last one. Sorry, Ted Lasso. I watched that
yeah,
one.
Head off.
I've recently thought that, you know what, that might be one of my favorite things I've ever watched.
Ted Lasso, yeah, love it. My God, it's
Yeah,
Yeah. Ted
I,
Lasso's a fantastic show.
it's definitely one of my, I've recently thought it's definitely one of my favorite things that I have ever watched, even though I think it's critically brilliant. I think the acting's brilliant. I think the messaging's brilliant. I think the direction's brilliant.
it's just
Um,
easy
it's
watch, and it's easy for you to for your brain just to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easy
Yeah.
for your brain to enjoy while still having the. This is where I sound a bit like a wanky actor. It's still got the depth and all the meaning of everything
Yeah,
behind,
wanky
like all the
acting.
messaging and that, yeah, and but it's easy to watch. Like you can just turn it on, like, oh, you know what, I can appreciate this. This is really cool, but also it's
Yeah,
making me think, and that's when you know you've got an art form or a medium that is great, where it's easily digestible, but you can psychoanalyze it if you are that character, if you are that person to do that.
yeah. I think you've got to. I think once you get into a really good box set, it's just you know you just like. I
Oh yeah.
mean, Reuben will say to me, "Have you watched this?" And suddenly, yeah, I've just started watching it because I finished it. It's brilliant. I'm like, how'd you finish it? You got the time.
You're meant to be training, mate. What are you doing?
Mm, exactly.
Courtney Law's
A
just come
big
and nicked your
one.
place, man. You gotta like, you can't be watching TV.
I know. Great.
What's your favorite like style of food cuisine?
That's good. So I'm pretty good with food. I like all foods. So I do like Thai food. I do like a sort of um, Japanese. My favorite food. No, I would never get away from an unbelievable steak, right? I think it's
Oh,
always going to
God.
be in the mix. But I do, you know, we went to Japan. When was that? Oh, 2018, just for the Rugby World Cup, and then I was there for 2 months with the Rugby World Cup. What word of a lie? The food was amazing, amazing, and also you would go into a place. It was like somebody's kitchen, and you're going, this can't be a restaurant. And there's four seats. That's all they've got, and it is their kitchen. And you sit down at the
That's
kitchen,
amazing.
and you have this unbelievable meal, and they live upstairs. So yeah,
That is bonkers.
I like all. There's not many. I mean, there's not many foods I don't like. Try to think of any in the world I've gone. I don't really like the food. Yeah, I'm pretty good in food. I like trying things, and my
Yeah.
kids are like that. When we were growing up, we used to always try different things. So yeah, food for me, everything goes, but I don't. I'm gluten free, so I tend to try and have, and I do like, you know, I mean, that sounds weird, but like I really do like eating vegetables. I really quite like it. But at the same
Nice.
time, I could easily have a vegetarian meal and think that's amazing. The next day, have a massive steak and still have the same sort of, you know. So I like variation.
Nice.
That's
I mean,
that's good.
that is my challenge as a dad now, trying to get my kids to spread out. and eat a variety of food.
It's when they go to you, I don't like it. You never tried it.
Oh,
I don't like it. Never tried it. I did get Lois was telling me the other day we were chatting about she had a tuna salad once. She said I don't like it. I said I'll blend it for you instead. So I blended this tuna salad and I made her eat it. She doesn't like tuna anymore.
I'm with her. I'm not a big tuna
That's fair.
fan, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
it's
that
not as
sounds
nice
like
blended. I tried to have it too blended. It's disgusting. Anyway,
oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like
That's-
my nightmare. Blended tuna.
Yeah.
Oh
I
God.
wouldn't try that
I
yet.
was going, what are you doing? She was only about 7 at the time. Hard
I mean,
school. Hard
there-
school you're in.
Yeah,
there
here's
has
your
been
tuna
times
smoothie.
where-
You'll like it.
Tuna smoothie. Yeah.
Oh no! Even the thought of it's giving
Oh,
me a
it's terrible.
fear. No, but there's even been times like if my kids are at my parents and they'll eat this, and I'm like, I've just bought them this. They've ate them. They've both ate it. I'll go, cool. Where did you get that? It's from Asda. It's in this box. Blah blah blah. I bought the exact same one, and my kids go, I don't like that. I'm like, lies, because it's the exact same Granny's made.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's
like
the
they're trying to
exact
push it
same.
with
Very good. I
dads.
don't like it. No, well, don't
It-
eat it then. They won't starve,
Yeah.
will they? Not going to starve.
No, they'll never starve. But it is like my oldest is not so bad. He's getting better, but the youngest one, no, don't want that. Oh, you're gonna starve at this rate. There's only
Oh.
so many ways I can make macaroni cheese without it being macaroni cheese, bud.
Why is there broccoli in it, Dad? Because you need.
Find something different. But yeah, no, he's the oldest is getting better with food. He's trying new things. He's wanting to branch out. The youngest is just no. I'm like, cool. Everything's new. Granted, he's only 2, so we'll give him time. But
Right.
yeah,
You should be all right. You
Should
still
be
won't
all right.
starve.
yeah. Final question for you today, Kenny.
Let's go.
What one thing you'd like to be remembered for?
What do I remember for? It's a weird question, isn't it? I suppose just somebody that you could rely on, trust, and if you were ever in trouble, I'd turn up and help them. Yeah, I don't want to be. I don't want people to rugby was brilliant, and I think there'll be more amazing things they'll do outside of rugby than we'll be able to remember for more than just being a rugby player. And I think that's one thing I'd hate to be remembered as a rugby player because you retired when you're 32. Got a hell of a long time retired. So yeah,
Did you also know that your career is like perfectly like bookended? We were looking into this. So you made your debut against Australia in Brisbane,
yeah, I know
and
that.
you retired against Australia in Brisbane. I'm like, that's
Full
and
circle
also
moment.
I don't think the scoreline's too different. I think there's only like 4 or 5 points either way.
We
If
should
I
have won the
remember.
second one. Fuck, we should have won that.
No, I know, but
Should have won the
I'm
second
not
one.
mentioning that one.
Interestingly, we're so I finished with 70 caps, and I know they've awarded a whole lot of people caps after since then. Like people who played, and I think so. Officially, I've probably got another 4 or 5 out of that. But anyway, I so we're playing against. So I was against who was it again? Oh, so we had the midweek game against USA, and Ian McGeechan said, "I'm resting you this week because we'll beat USA with a sort of midweek team." And I was like, "No, you can't rest me." He's going, "Why?" I said, "You just can't rest me." I said, "I'm in the flow, I'm doing too well. I cannot finish at 69 because I knew that was my last game."
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
he I'll never forget. I come on with 5-10 minutes to go, and Simon and Yelling had scored 3 tries. And I'm going, fuck. So I come on, and I'm literally doing everything. And Ian McGeechan said, "Could you had a good 20 minutes on there?" I went, "No, I had 5 minutes." He went, "You had a great 5 minutes then," because I knew it to play really well because I thought I didn't think I was get dropped, but I never ever took it for granted. So one thing,
Yeah.
every time, even though I had man of the match or everybody said you played well, I had the same feeling as if had a crap game. I never ever took it for granted that I was always going to be picked. And every time my name was read out, I just was like, right, I never ever once took it for granted, because playing for your country is a very special thing. And, we're just looking after that jersey for the next person coming along.
That's true. I've read something like along those lines. I think it was like Richie McCaw or something that was like, the jersey's never yours. You just leave it in a better place. And I'm like, that's amazing. I love that.
I
Although
love that
your name is on a
mentality.
plaque. If you've ever been at Murrayfield, your name is on a plaque in the changing room at the 11 jersey. So you've obviously done more than well enough.
Yeah,
you've done something.
You've done something.
No, you're
disappearing soon. Not soon we got
that. What's it based on? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful.
I wouldn't know.
Because like, there is some names I'm reading,
Reuben,
and I'm like,
Reuben told me that.
Yeah, no, I've seen your name up there a few times.
Yeah, I mean, Duhan's pretty good.
You said that with like a grudge.
Duhan, I mean, I love watching Duhan. I love watching Darcy Graham. And I know Staines brilliant. I think winger. I mean, it was funny. I remember being with Brian O'Driscoll. I think it was in New Zealand for the Lions in 17, and he said, "When did you become a fan?" Right, and then the Lions scored, and he's gone mental, like mental. And I looked at him and, "You're not a fan, mate," because before he was, And I think the other interesting thing, you go to these games now, and you're such a fan, you forget that you actually played the game, or you forget you actually been in that moment. You sometimes think, "Oh my God, I did that. I can't believe I used to be on that pitch." But yeah, I mean, I'm a proper fan now. I'm like, if we lose, I'm upset. You know what I mean? So
that's great to hear that you still have that sort of emotional attachment to it. But now it's, as the years have gone on, and it's like, as you say, you'd rather be remembered as being someone that people can count on and depend upon. And it's almost like reflective of the fact that now that you have been away from rugby for so long, you can appreciate it and love it as a fan, whereas previously you loved it as a player. And I think that's a brilliant thing, to have an appreciation for something in a different way as you grow.
Yeah, and I appreciate how hard these boys work. Right, they worked. We worked as hard as we could with what we got, and they're working harder. And I really do believe that this team deserves to win something.
100% they do.
Or deserves to get to a semi-final of a World Cup or something. It deserves something that, because there's a lot of good players there, and I think Gregor has done a great job.
Watch him do it in his final year. Just he knows it's his last outing, and he just goes, "Bugger it, let's go for it." Six Nations, World Cup, ends on a high. Sir Gregor Townsend, that'd be nuts.
Yeah.
I think even just beating Ireland in a quarter final, you'd probably be amazed with
that.
It's
a quarter final, so Ireland don't get further than that.
Well,
so
but imagine if it was like that Ireland Golden Generation team, and it's like the Scotland haven't beaten Ireland in years, and all of a sudden they beat them in a quarter final to stop them from going to the semi. I think I think that would be. I mean, as an English fan, I would watch that, and I'd be like, "Yes, come on!"
That would be pretty special.
I'd be cheering as loud as any Scotsman
Fingers
on
crossed.
that day.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see what happens. Plenty of rugby beforehand, though. We've got the autumn series of the Nations Championship, Six Nations, the World Cup warm-ups, and then the biggest World Cup yet, because there's more teams and there's round of 16 and all that this time round. So
definitely.
Is that Ireland's loophole? Just going off topic quickly, is that Ireland's loophole to win a knockout game? Is the round of 16? Is that how they're going to do it?
Well, it's a loophole, but it doesn't mean they get past the quarterfinal. So
no, but they have finally won a knockout game in the World Cup. If they get
that's true.
If they do it.
watch them not win that.
Get to semi-final.
That'd be so good. It'd be unreal.
Oh, that'd be funny. I'd love that.
But just like that, Kenny, the book is now closed, and honestly, this has been an absolute blast. I cannot thank you enough for agreeing to come on and chat.
No worries, thanks for having me.
No worries, and honestly, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Take care, and we'll see you. If I see you around, knocking around Wickham, and I remember the face now. Cheers, boys.
Glad you're okay.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See you later, bud.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, great chat. Cannot thank him enough. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. We are everywhere. And like I said, there are more interviews coming, so do not miss out. This has been the Rugby Connection podcast. Until next time, we will see you then.